My Plants vs. Zombies 2 challenge, the only spikes challenge, or the only spikeweed challenge, the only weeds challenge, the only spikeweeds plus cactus challenge, the only ground spikes challenge, the only plants that attack from above challenge, is going to get really hard, easy, hard, easy, in no particular order, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But today will be an exciting one, hopefully, and I hope you enjoy the video. Look guys, look at this. I got a little outfit for my spikeweed. Day 1, you know, is the usual introduction level, and they're showing us a pretty frequent, or should I say, really frequent zombie in this world, the jetpack zombie. But the cactus really shows his worth in this world, eliminating all the jetpack zombies, and they really don't have a lot of health like I thought they would. I'm pretty sure they have less health than a dodo bird. Look, I can't even plant food him. Like, there's no way for me to kill this dude. Except to wait for... Oh, wait. Cha-ching! Day 2 has our first robot of the far future, and I honestly thought with those wheels bro has rolling across that he would crush our spikeweed or any of the variants, or even the cactus, but he literally doesn't. And a cactus and a spikeweed can easily take him out. He's really easy to take out, and he doesn't crush anything. So this dude is not really a problem. And also, the shield that he puts up that's supposed to block projectiles, well, our cactus pierces. So honestly, he basically does nothing, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, if like, what else runs over the spikeweed without even getting hurt by it? What runs over the spikeweed? I can't remember. Someone tell me down below, because I'm trying to remember. Day 3 have the robots that are controlled by the imps, and they're really annoying sometimes. It depends how far on the map they spawn, because it's different for every, you know, day how far ahead they spawn on the map. Because if they spawn more than halfway, our cactuses can't deal with them. But if they spawn closer to where the normal zombies walk out of, just one cactus can deal with them. They don't have a lot of health. Day 4, the sun bombs are falling, and I really do like this over using like the gold bloom and the sunbeam. And also, I'm pretty sure it gives you way more sun than like a normal level of just sun dropping from the sky does. So I also like that. But there was a ton of zombies, but this level gave us a lot of plant food to deal with all the bucket heads. I just used a bunch of spike rock plant food to deal with them, and every single lane had a plant fooded cactus, so it was pretty easy to deal with all these zombies. Also, does anyone actually use the sun bombs mechanic to destroy zombies? Day 5 has the robot conehead zombies, and the one mistake they made with all the robots, or most of the robots, is that they actually technically eat plants. They don't run them over. So not only do they do nothing to our spikeweed, but we get to use our sunbeam a lot more this world, because our cactuses, unless we have like spike rocks and ice weeds, but usually we don't have enough sun for that, they don't deal enough damage to the zombies like the robot conehead. But since these robots technically eat the zombie or the plants, we can use the sunbeam plant food to immediately destroy them, and we also get about 600 sun or something like that, which is absolutely crazy. So we are going to be using that a lot in this world, because it gives us a crazy amount of sun for just 50 and a plant food. Dang, bro, the sunbeam plant food gives you 600 sun from, bro. That's actually crazy. I need to remember to actually use that then, because that's actually wild. Day 7 was just a bunch of conehead robots and a bunch of jetpack zombies. And at the bottom of my screen, where what this conehead zombie is going through is what I said we need to actually deal with the robot coneheads without the sunbeams plant food, which actually is insane that we need like 5 rows of just weeds, or else bro will actually get our lawnmower. Day 9 was one of the ones where we couldn't have 15 more plants, and as you know by now, if you watch any of the other parts, the levels like this where I can't have more than a certain amount of plants are bugged, because I can have as many as I want and it won't do anything. So for this level, I actually tried to get the most plants on my screen as humanly possible, and I don't think I did that well, if I'm going to be honest, but I tried. Day 10 gives us the massive robots that spawn the disco jetpack zombies, which the disco jetpack zombies are no problem. If anything's a problem, it's the robot that spawns them, but also the robot isn't really a problem either. You see, this robot has less health than the Conehead, and also it pauses every few seconds to spawn more zombies. So as they're spawning these jetpack zombies that basically do nothing, our cactuses are repeatedly piercing them, and if they're standing on spike rocks, getting repeatedly poked. So they're really easy to deal with, but these zombies can also eat our plants, so we can also use the sunbeam method on this robot, but I don't think he gives as much sun since he has less health. So most of the time we just let him be, since in later levels it's all the robots, so we just let this one be and use our sunbeam plant food for greater things. Day 11 was a planar defense, and holy, there is a bunch of zombies and robots in this. Obviously there's going to be a bunch of them because that's why the reason it's called planar defense. You set up an entire defense that can take out a bunch of zombies and they hit you with a bunch of zombies. The imps weren't really a problem like I thought they could have been, because our cactuses still do a lot of damage to them, especially 2 rows of cactuses before they can do anything. But they just had a sheer amount of conehead zombies. Like, who thought it was a good idea to throw 3 coneheads down the same lane during the last wave? Like, how am I actually supposed to defend against that? Especially since we aren't able to use the sunbeam method, since it is a planar defense. We had to use plant food strategically. Day 12 wasn't too hard, but it did have the Gargantuar for this world, and I actually really do like the Gargantuar for this world. He is kind of crazy because he can shoot a laser beam across multiple lanes from far away and just obliterate your plants. Day 13 is the biggest problem of this world, which is the robot that pushes plants back. Now he can't push any of our spikeweeds back, but he can push our cactus because our cactus doesn't go down in the ground before he pushes. But the bad thing about this is the sunbeam method won't work, and he has the most health out of all of them, I'm pretty sure. So we have to set up a crazy defense in order to stop this dude, or else it's literally guaranteed lawnmower gone. Day 14, we couldn't spend over a certain amount of sun, and this day was pretty easy because they didn't throw any high health robots at us or anything. So a full row of cactuses, some with plant food, did the trick. Basically just a bunch of pierce for everything. On day 15, we had to protect the 3 citron, and actually we almost lost this level, but luckily our ice weeds were able to freeze the conehead robots long enough so our citron could get one more shot off to kill them while they were slowly eating out my boys. Day 18, we had to produce 6,000 sun, and on paper, this sounds hard. And you would be right, this level is very hard. Now the saving grace for this level is the sunbeam's plant food, which, you know, like I said before, when we use it on one of the big robots, it can give us up to like 600 sun in one thing. Well, on the first attempt, by the final flag, I was only halfway there. So I pretty much knew this was a second attempt incoming. The second attempt I speak of is using the sunbeam more effectively, since I know when the robot's coming in that I need to use the sunbeam on, I can take that time where they aren't in there to use the sunbeam on other troops like bucketheads, for example, to fully optimize the sunbeam. But we also brought in the golden leaf for once. I know the last thing y'all were expecting was me to add another inefficient sun producer to the roster, but I really do think we needed it this round. 6,000 sun is a crazy amount to produce with no one else. We basically just played the golden leaf whenever we had it, and this level became, it didn't become easy, but it was really close. We had to stall the last 2 robots in order to do it. Also, why is the golden leaf's recharge so unbelievably long? Like, holy. Like, if it wasn't a bad plant in concept, like making the cooldown like the same as a golden bloom is absolutely crazy. Day 20, we had to protect all of these star fruits, and it was pretty easy to deal with all the zombies, even if there was an overwhelming amount of them and an overwhelming amount of close calls. But as soon as we got ice weeds in all of the lanes in front of the star fruits, ice weeds froze the zombies long enough for the star fruits' close burst range. What did I just say? For the star fruits' close range attacks that do quite a lot of damage to, eventually kill the zombie with its attacks while the ice weed is still slowing them. And also, I think I underestimated the star fruit's plant food potential. Day 21, we had to produce 5,000 sun, which, I mean, it's less than the last level. But the reason why this level is supposed to be harder than the last one, I guess, is because they also give you the second challenge of not having more than 16 plants. But you already know. Day 22 has a little bit of everything, and when I say everything, I mean everything. I mean, look at what is going on my screen. I have a massive robot at the top lasering down my zombies, and then I have like titans behind him basically, and a bunch of people with jetpacks behind him. Like, dude, if this was the first thing a baby saw coming out of the womb, it would quite literally implode. Day 23, we couldn't spend over a certain amount of sun, so I did Crazy Dave a favor and spent 0 sun. Would you believe me if I said the last level of this world was hard? Would you believe me if I said it was way easier than 80% of the other levels in this world? Okay, so now that we're finished with Far Future, we are going to rate the zombies of Far Future on how difficult they were on, how difficult they were to deal with them. This challenge, Okay, so let's start with the jetpack zombies. The jetpack zombies were F tier difficulty. The only reason they could ever be a problem is if I don't even have a cactus in that lane, but literally just one cactus takes them out like in a second. Now the dodo bird would probably be like C or something because it's easy to take out, but you have to have a cactus in that lane already, so it might be like C or B, but the jetpack zombie is easier to take out than the dodo for some reason. Okay, next we have the shield zombie. This shield zombie is also pretty easy to take out. He has the least amount of health of all the robot zombies other than the imp, but I think he's still like really easy to take out. We could just use a cactus and like a normal spikeweed, or I'm sure just a cactus can take him out. So I'm gonna place him in D tier. The Afro jetpack zombie, basically the same thing. The only reason he could be difficult is because if the robot that spawns him is up on the map a little, but yeah, that's about it. Okay, the robot imps. I'm going to put them in D tier as well. They have really low health. As long as we already have a cactus in the lane that they drop, we should be good. I mean, we will be good. So yeah, they're not that hard to deal with, like, at all. Next, the Conehead. I'm gonna put him in B. He has quite a lot of health. We had to use like our bean on him every single time. He's kind of a little harder to deal with than just a regular bucket head. We have to put like an ice weed and a spike weed or spike rock down with a cactus to take him out. But yeah, he's not crazy hard though. Okay, the robot that makes the zombies dance. Honestly, I'm gonna put him in C tier. He has quite a bit of health, but since they're too busy spawning zombies half the time, they really just stand in one spot and they don't really progress down the map. And since the jetpack zombies don't really do anything, they also don't really do anything. They just have a lot of health. So yeah. This zombie, holy shamoly, I hate this freaking zombie, dude. I hate this robot so much. And also our cactuses don't even hide from him, so he pushes them away. I don't know. Compared to zombies in other worlds though, I don't know how hard. I mean, he has a ton of health. I'm just gonna say A tier. I'm not gonna say he's the highest of the high. I feel like that's too much. But he does have a crazy amount of health, and we need enough sun to have like 2 ice weeds and like 2 spike rocks down the entire lane to take him out, and maybe even a plant fooded cactus. He's just insane. The robot Gargantuar, I'm gonna have to put him in A also, maybe above him, because he takes out our plants as well, our spike rocks and everything. But yeah, that background noise was pretty bad in the last section. I don't know what that guy was thinking. Anyway, the next world is the Dark Ages, and I don't know how I never realized this whenever I play this world again, but I completely forget that sun doesn't fall out of the sky, and this is really hard with no efficient sun producers, because this basically means we have to wait for our cactuses to destroy these sun gravestones, or else we literally don't get a sun. So we basically have to let like 1 or 2 lawnmowers go at the beginning of every single level, just because we don't have enough sun to put a cactus or something to defend in every single lane. I didn't notice this in my last challenge, the Only Hypno challenge. If you haven't checked it out, you should check out the movie. It's really good. I don't know who made it, but I think it's really good. I like that video a lot. But anyway, the reason why I didn't notice it in that last challenge is because I didn't really have to worry about it, because the cauliflower targets every single lane. So I never had to worry about all the zombies in different lanes because the cauliflower goes for every lane. Night 3, we had to let more than half of our lawnmowers go because these stupid imps that spawn from the graves every once in a while. Not only that, but they give us little to no sun graves at all, so we genuinely had to wait for a second gold bloom just to get a full lane of cactuses. You cannot make this up. Night 5 was the Jester's debut, and I really didn't think it was going to be a problem until I saw this happen. Bro, stop! Stop! Wait, why does the Jester have so much health? A whole Iceweed didn't even take his limb off! My god! Even the Spearmint's Spike Rocks couldn't take him out, and they're a little powered up compared to the regular ones. But they can take out the Jester if they are actively being powered up by the Spearmint still. But that is not a reliable way to take care of the Jester, so he's going to be really annoying in future levels. Night 6, 2 of our lawnmowers got immediately taken out by Jesters. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Nothing I can do actually stops this guy right about now, so I really need to think of something. Like, literally the only reason we survived this dude this time is because they gave us a ton of plant food, and every time a Jester almost took our lawnmower or almost ate our berries, I just used a plant food on the spike weeds at the top of the lawn to pull them back. And yeah, that's basically my strategy for stopping them this level. Day 7 was these dudes with night helmets, but they gave us a ton of plant food, so I just used the sunbeam plant food to kill all of them. Goo goo gaga. Day 9, there was all of the potions that helped zombies, but they didn't really affect us that much, probably because the sun gravestones kept respawning, so we had a bunch of sun to deal with all the knights and the jesters this time. But I have a feeling in future levels I will not be so lucky. Day 11 has a bunch of zombies, but I get a ton of plant food. Like, they're really throwing me bones like every single level, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they throw a bunch of zombies at me, but then they throw literally 6 plant food at me. And also this level introduces the wizard, but the wizards do literally nothing when a power-up spike rock at the front of the lawn instantly kills them. Night 12 actually had me struggling quite a bit, and I actually lost a few times, but it's not the reason you think. I'm just kidding. Yes, it is. It's because of the Jester. Okay, I was making some questionable decisions sometimes, and my reaction time might be really slow. But when I tried to do this without the spearmint, it was extremely hard. I didn't expect the cactus to backfire that bad. I don't know exactly how many shots a puff shroom can take from a deflected cactus shot, but I don't think it's much. So when I try to plant food the mushroom so he doesn't die, the Jester is already close enough, so he basically commits, you know. Even with the spearmint, we lost quite a bit of times. The 2 spike rocks at the top didn't even take the Jester out like they were supposed to, and then I put 2 cactuses at the top, which ultimately backfired because it was double the cactus projectile shooting back at our puff shroom. They basically took out their own homeboy. Basically, the strat to actually beat this is, use spearmint whenever there are jesters, and use the plant food we get to not only revive the puff shrooms again, but we get a lot of extra plant food that we don't need for the puff shrooms, and we just use it to refresh the spearmint. Day 14 is the infamous level that ends most challenge runs. But we actually first tried this level in this challenge, and it was pretty easy peasy. Since we used the sunbeam anyway, we basically know the ins and outs of how to use it, and it's pretty goated, this level. You know, you really need it to complete it. But we did not have to use the Grave Buster because the spike killed the graves very effectively with her pierce. Night 15 was a planar defense level, and there were jesters, so I took a very risky move and tried a strategy where instead of using cactus with the jesters, made our cactus basically useless. I saved a lot of sun and just placed ice weeds and spike rocks down with the help of the spearmint, and this ended up working. I wouldn't say it worked like a charm because it was a very sloppy win, but a win overall. Night 16 was one of those levels I thought I had a nightmare about once, but I actually just had a nightmare about me not uploading for a week, but then I woke up and realized it was just a dream. But these stupid king zombies, I knew they were going to be a problem, but I did not know they were going to be this much of a problem. Like, I thought our cactuses could take them out before they put too many helmets on some zombies, but our cactuses literally take 5 business days to make bro even lose a limb. Like, genuinely, it would probably take 2 minutes of the cactus straight shooting at him to actually kill him. I don't know why this homeless King Joe has so much health. Basically, the motto of this world has just been sacrificing lawnmowers. And I'm not proud of saying that, but it has to be done. As you would have guessed by now, I lost again and again. But eventually, just like any level that takes me tons of tries to do, I have no idea how I actually won. I guess it had to do with a bunch of factors, like when I used my spearmint power and also the RNG of which zombie the wizard is going to turn into a sheep and which zombie the king zombie is going to put like a knight helmet on. Night 17 and night 19 both had the king zombies, but they had way less of them, and it was actually super easy for both of those levels. Night 16 was basically the final boss of this world. Now we're off to the rankings, and hopefully there's not those weird background noises in this ranking too. Well, there wasn't those weird background noises because my mic wasn't even on for that whole ranking. But anyway, I'm going to quickly go over the rankings since my past self forgot to unmute his mic. Okay, so basically the Jester is a high A tier. He's definitely way more annoying than the robot Gargantua or the other robot that pushes zombies will ever be. The Wizard Zombie is going in high B because they are extremely annoying, way more annoying than the Conehead Zombie or the Cone Robot Zombie for sure, but they were only annoying in some select levels, so that's why it's not in A tier with everybody else. And then we are going to rank the King Zombie and not the Nighthead Zombie differently, because the King Zombie basically made all the Nighthead Zombies in the level when it was introduced. But the King Zombie is definitely going to go in S tier. Holy, this dude is extremely annoying and actually ends my run so many times. But also, he's just an abomination to look at and an abomination of a zombie. I am not looking forward to what Neon Mixtape Tour zombies will do to my spikes, if I'm going to be honest. All I know about Neon Mixtape Tour going in with this challenge is that some of the conveyor belts have cactus and the boss fight has cactus, so we have some extra levels we need to try. Day 3 was one of those conveyor belt levels, but I'm editing this footage right now and it looks like I got a bit carried away because I put down 2 of the plants that like knock zombies back. I guess I was like playing this level and I felt like a kid again or something because I completely forgot about my challenge. But luckily I placed both of these at the end of the final wave, and I had all of my lawnmowers, so it didn't really matter anyway. Day 5 we had to protect 4 different lanes with walnuts and fat beets, but this level kind of just throws all the good zombies that could actually have a chance of ruining your life in the middle, so it's basically pretty easy since they throw all the bucket heads down the middle. Day 7, and we already know the zombies that kick back plants don't really do anything and are pretty much completely useless against us in this challenge. But what about the Skater Girl zombies? Well, they don't trample our spike weeds, surprisingly, and instantly evaporate them. The only thing they've got going for them is the mystical trail that protects the zombies behind them, but even then she's not that hard to deal with. The next zombie that might threaten us is the Mic Swing zombie, and yeah, they don't even swing and kill our spike weeds. So that is another zombie of this world that basically does absolutely nothing. Day 14 only gave us 4 plants that we had to use, and one of them was a cactus, so I was legally obligated to play this level, and holy, it was close. When I tell you nothing happened till day 23, I'm being serious. And nothing really happened this day either. The only reason why I'm showing you it is because day 23, the arcade pushing zombies joined the bum train. Our cactuses deal with the arcades pretty easily because of her pierce. And also, putting an ice weed under the dude who pushes them is also a pretty good way to deal with them. The gargantuars of this world are the only gargantuars that actually scare me though. Day 30 was the last hard day of this entire world, and it was literally just because it was every zombie in one and absolutely tons of them. I failed the first time and ended up getting it on the second. But then that is literally the end of this world. That's crazy. And then I bet you thought I was gonna have this epic boss fight with Zomboss, you know, cactus only. And you know what, that's what I thought too. But in 2 minutes of footage during this boss fight, they only gave me 2 cactuses, and one was literally the last 5 seconds before they ate my brains. I could have sworn there were way more cactuses being given to me like the last time I played this boss. I even tried a few more times to see if it was like RNG, of how many cactuses I get, but no, I literally get 2 in the span of 2 minutes. So I guess no boss fight. Okay, last but not least, we are going to do the zombies from the world we just played, and we're gonna start off with the zombies that kick. They were actually pretty easy, but were they crazy easy? Yeah, they were really easy actually, because they couldn't kick anything, so their whole mechanic was gone. Basically, the only thing that they had for them was when they started dancing, they were a little bit quicker. So we had to have a cactus down already, but that's about it. Okay, the skater zombies, as you guys saw, she doesn't run over the spike rocks or cactus and kill them. So she really has nothing besides her, you know, usual abilities, which they didn't really make it hard, especially since the cactus has piercing. Well, the piercing didn't really matter, but ice weed and stuff pretty well, so I'm gonna put her in D. She's at least not turned into a normal zombie. The mic swinging zombies were actually also useless. I mean, I'm pretty sure they could have got my cactus, but they never got close to him. But yeah, I don't think he can hit spike weeds, or at least he never hit one of the ones I placed down. So I'm gonna also put him in D. And then these freaking these boombox zombies that like make my plants fall in love, they were actually really annoying, but they were only in like 2 levels or 3 levels, so I'm gonna put them in C for that. Arcade pushing zombies, it wasn't even the fact of the arcade itself, because the cactus has pierce, but then the arcade spawns like freaking cone heads and bucket heads through it, so I'm gonna put him in A tier. But I don't think he's I think he's more annoying than this, but less annoying than the Gargantuar. And that is the end of those 3 worlds. Now, if you guessed the order was going to be easy, hard, easy, congratulations, you got it right. And I'm going to give Far Future a 4 out of 10. I'm going to give Dark Ages a 8.5 out of 10. And I'm going to give Neon Mixtape Tour a 6 out of 10. But yeah, just so you guys know, if I ever have a nightmare of that I didn't upload for a week or something, just know that I definitely won't have that nightmare again.